You can head to that module and open up the Google Doc. Good morning to those of you online. All right, so we got more coming. All right, the Google Doc that we're going to be using is located right here where it says 426 current event participation. So if you could click on that and click on period 1, it should take you to the correct place. And I'm going to make sure should take you to the current event page for this class. Looks like this. We've got Luke. We've got Wes. And we've got Ian today. All right. Can I get a thumbs up from everybody in the room? Are we in? Chris? Okay. Like I said, we'll get done as much as we can, and then I would like to get started on kind of what happened after World War I, so that we can finally get to the rise of Adolf Hitler and the Nazis, and possibly hopefully get through World War II as well. All right, good morning. All right, so Luke, come on up, please. Let's go ahead and get you started. And for those of you that are online, go to the current module if you got in late here, and make sure you get onto the Google Doc. All right, let me get us to the correct class here real quick. Route. You didn't put it on Canvas. You just shared it with me. Never mind, I got it. You just shared it with me. I'll find it here in 1 second. Gotten a lot of messages over the last few days, right? There it is. All right, so we're ready to rock and roll here. Michael Dunn, can you give me a thumbs up if you can see animals affected by global warming? Michael Dunn, can you give me a thumbs up? Do you see that on the screen? Thank you, sir.
Actually, I don't see the global warming one. I just see racism in European sports.
Okay, I'm sharing the wrong screen. Let me change it real quick.
I can see it.
Okay. That should work. Is that better, Michael?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. And then I'm gonna switch this real quick. Let me make sure this is on. All right, Luke, you're gonna be talking in there. They can see you, or the board at least. They can't see you right now. You're gonna go back that way. All right. Let's do this deal. All right, go ahead, talk to us.
Animals affected by global warming. When talking about climate change, most people just consider what global warming is doing to our planet. But global warming does not just affect our habitat. Global warming has been the cause for many species of animals to become endangered or extinct. When looking at a species like the polar bears, you can see that their climate is being destroyed. Polar bears rely almost entirely on sea ice environment. This means that they cannot survive in a different climate. What is happening today? Looking at animals that are endangered due to global warming today, you can see that the climate has not let up. The climate change. More and more animals are dying every day. Their habitats are constantly changing. Animals that rely on certain climates to survive cannot keep up. Even if an animal can survive in a different climate, if its food source is dying, so will that animal. What will happen in the future? If global warming continues to happen in the future, many more animals will go extinct. Will spiral out of control due to food sources going extinct and habitat changes causing many species to go extinct. If we as a population start to do things to help global warming, such as reduce greenhouse gases, stop air pollution, use a fuel-efficient vehicle, and use renewable energy, this can help to halt global warming and save animals all around the world.
What's it about?
About like polar bears and how they could be extinct.
All right. Moving on. Arctic polar bears are facing near extinction by the end of the century as the sea ice can depend on activity. The start one new study looking at the long-term future as greenhouse gas emissions continue the melting of the bear's frozen country. Our science correspondent Victoria Gill.
They are the coastal species of climate change. Predators that depend on fragile, transient materials, the Arctic sea ice. And this study has shown that polar bears' survival is tied to that ice. The scientists used models based on satellite data to forecast sea ice decline in the Arctic over the coming decades. That enabled them to predict a future tipping point to create a timeline for when the frozen hunting season will be too short for the bears to fatten up before the summer. The current rate of warming, researchers say all but a few polar bear populations will collapse before 2100.
With less fat, they're entering a fasting season that's longer than it used to be.
Is that now unavoidable? We're already on that trajectory with the few polar bears.
The trajectory that we're on now is not a good one. But if society gets its act together globally, we can halt global warming in time to save polar bears. And if we do, we'll benefit the rest of life on Earth, including ourselves.
The consequences of climate change are already playing out in the Arctic landscape. And this new timeline, researchers say, is a stark reminder the survival of an entire species is at stake. Victoria Gill, BBC.
Discussion questions. First one, what will you do to help stop global warming? How do you feel about animals like polar bears going extinct because of global warming? And how does global warming affect animals in a way other than destroying their habitat?
All right, let's give Luke a round of applause. Can't help but point out the fact that we had a snowstorm at the end of April. Yes, last week, right? I don't know if that's tied to global warming or not, or the polar vortex moving around again. Who knows? But if I have to be honest, answering number one, I did buy an electric or a battery powered car. It's like half battery, half diesel or unleaded fuel. And then My wife and I thought it would be a good idea. I don't know. All right. Anybody want to share a response here? What do you think? Number one, what we do to help stop global warming? Is there anything that you think you would actually do? If you could, when other people are presenting, take your earbuds out, as it's just a polite move. Same for you. Thank you. Gonna leave the other one in for fun. I lost my case last night. All right, anyone do answer number one? What can you do? No one has anything? Chris? All right, invest in electric cars. Maybe use solar panels to produce energy, electricity. That's starting to become a little more affordable, and I think the state and the is giving out like benefits to do that to your house. I know in our neighborhood we have a few people that have it now. We live in a neighborhood that was built in the 1970s. How do you feel about animals like polar bears going extinct because of global warming? Gotta have one person in the room answer the question. Anybody? Kyla, can you well, we're doing this. Thank you. All right, Jacob, what do you think? Number two, come on, man, wake up. You feel bad? Do you think that it's just polar bears? No, it's going to be every species on Earth, including humans, are going to have to adjust, aka snowstorms at the end of April. You see what I mean? It's not just an isolated event. The polar bears are just the example that maybe is presenting itself earlier than other issues. How does global warming affect animals in a way other than destroying their habitat? Anybody have an answer to this one? If you're virtual and you'd like to participate, go ahead and unmute. Anybody? All right, Luke gets to answer his own question then. What do you think, Luke? How does global warming affect animals in a way other than destroying their habitat? Yep, and it can cause other animals to wander further when they hunt or when they go for food, which is going to cause destroy other ecosystems. Like in the ocean, you start seeing different fish move into different areas, which then ruins that area. If you look at Lake Michigan, and if you've ever heard of the Asian carp, it's like a jumping carp that's become a huge issue, and the water's getting warmer so they can survive all the way up into the Great Lakes and destroy all the fisheries and a lot of the aquatic life in our Great Lakes as well. All right, let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and try to get out of this. And this would be period 3, so that would not be the one that I want. Let me pull up the one I was trying to find. Here's period 1. And some of you that are online need you to make sure you're putting in answers, please. Okay. All right. Well, we've got Wes Goins up next here. I'm going to stop the share for one moment. Wes, are you out there? Wes,
Yes, I'm about to Google Sites right now.
all right. So you haven't uploaded it yet?
No.
Okay. Can you share that with me right now, please?
Yes.
Just let me know when you do that so that I can find it, okay?
Okay.
Hey, all right, Wes, ready, guy?
So do I share it to you or I turn it in?
Just share it. That's fine. We want to get moving here.
Okay.
Got 11 days left to try to cover the rise of the Third Reich and all of World War II and maybe the Cold War. I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm trying to get this moving. This is the best part of history. It's most recent, at least in this class, and we want to talk about it.
I shared it.
All right. Still not coming up for me here. Did you put my MSDWT email in?
Yes, wait.
Yeah.
D Brunette.
Yeah, BRUNETTE.
Yes.
Okay, I think I got it here. All right. Life on Mars. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen and you are ready to talk to the crew. Michael, can you see that? Great. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put the cell phones back away. Let's see about life on Mars. All right, Wesley.
Life on Mars, Wesley Goins. For the longest, people always thought that maybe later in time humans will be able to live on Mars. Here are some facts on why it will be possible. Mars has a similar length of a day to us. Their atmosphere is similar to ours, and Mars and Earth are around the same distance from the sun. As of today, this has been the closest we have ever been to learning more facts about life on Mars. We now know that Mars has 2 moons compared to Earth having 1 moon. However, Mars and Earth have the same landmass. There are also signs of liquid water on Mars, which is good because that is the only way we'll be able to live on Mars, because days without water could lead to death. The more technology that comes out, the more people around the world will be able to live on Mars. I think maybe in the next 25 years, there will be some type of life on Mars. And that is the video. Wait, are you able to click on that?
I'm gonna have to just do this. It's okay.
We're calling these the new $1 billion.
It is Wednesday, March 13th, 2013. Welcome to Lunch Break. I'm Wendy Bounce. New evidence that ancient Mars could have supported organic life. Our own science guy, Lee Boatsy, is here to explain. Lee, welcome. I appreciate you being here. So the Mars Curiosity rover up there doing some work. What exactly did it dig up?
Well, NASA sent this robot, this $2.5 billion robot to Mars to answer a single question. That was Mars ever suitable? Hospitable for life. And yesterday, NASA got up in Washington, D.C. and announced that the answer to that question is yes.
And that's a big answer.
It's a big answer, and it comes with a lot of caveats. But what they're saying is that maybe 3 billion years ago, more or less, we could take a few 100 million years, which is about the time that life was arising on Earth, the chemistry, the soil conditions, suitable, hospitable for at least simple microbes. Now, that's the headline. The caveats
The
are,
conditions were there.
these are deductions, very
Yeah.
sort of subtle and intricate deductions based on an analysis of the chemistry of the rocks that are there today. So this is very much a kind of Sherlock Holmes sort of thing. I mean, it's you're basing this conclusion on much as what's not there as what is. One of the things this probe cannot do, it is not equipped to detect microbial activity today. If it was sitting on top of a pile of microbial bacterial fossils, it would not be able to detect them. But that said, this is pretty extraordinary.
So what we know, just to break it down, we know that life, as you said, could have been hospitable. There could have been, the conditions could have been hospitable for life, but we don't know indeed if there was organic life there.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Now, previous missions, previous rovers in Mars over the last 10 years have done, surface soil analysis and whatever, and they've always found that the conditions were too acidic or too alkaline or too salty or whatever for organic life as we know. So what's new here is they drilled into a rock, they drilled below the surface of Mars for the first time and pulled out, I mean, barely a tablespoon full of grit mudstone, which they believe with some certainty formed in water. By analyzing that grit, they were able to sort of pull out a whole spectrum of suitable and interesting chemistry. That's what they based this claim on.
And would that make Mars the only planet besides Earth that we know of that could have supported organic life?
That's exactly right. This is the first time that NASA or anyone reputable has come out and said there is strong evidence for us to say somewhere other than Earth could have supported life. Now, that said, there are other spots in the solar system, moons of Saturn or Jupiter, that some people feel astrobiologists, they call themselves, are very optimistic, could harbor oceans under their icy crust or whatever, or inside the volcanoes that erupt on the surface that might also be suitable for life, but we don't know that yet.
And Mars right now, not suitable, the conditions there are not suitable for organic life.
Right now, Mars is like the inside of an autoclave. I mean, it's cold, it's arid, it's lifeless, it's bathed continuously in sterilizing UV radiation and cosmic rays from space. The surface is lifeless.
And the water, and they basically were saying one of the things was they said that the water that back in Mars could have been safe enough, pure enough to drink.
Well, they said that yesterday. In fact, when I asked them about it, I played you. I said, would you tell me in a simple declarative sentence what this actually means? And they said, the water there, if you were there then, this would have been pure enough for you to drink. It's really a bit of a stretch.
Still a pretty interesting finding.
It is.
All right,
It is.
sweet hosts, thanks so much for being with us. More on WSJ.com.
Did not know that. All right, Wesley, go ahead and walk us through your questions, please.
When do you think we will be able to live on Mars? What way do you think we will be able to survive on Mars? And if you had the chance to live on Mars, would you?
All right, so let's give Wesley a round of applause. Everybody in the class, let him hear it at home. Yeah. Job. So what do you think? When do you think? That's a good question. What do you think? What way? If you had a chance then. Huh. This could solve the global warming issue, couldn't it? If you thought outside the box, if you move a billion or two people to Mars, we don't have the overcrowding on the Earth anymore. Possibly save habitats. Interesting. Okay, let's look at these questions real quick here. When do you think we'll be able to live on Mars? Anybody want to make a guess? What do you think? So 20 to 30 years? Okay. Anybody else? Maritza, what do you think? 20 years? Anybody else want to take a guess? Kylo, you think we'll be on Mars living there before the year 2100? 2100. That'd be 79 years. I'm kind of in your boat. I don't know. Actually, I mean, I don't know, but it's a good question. What's that? Yeah. What way do you think we'll be able to survive on Mars? It's not like you can call Amazon and just get them to deliver, you know? Make what? Make farms. I mean, go ahead, Kyle. Animals. It's almost like you have to go back to the way humans populated the earth, back to like the first week of this course where they migrated around the earth looking for large animals and they learned how to plant. It's almost like you have to go back to phase 1 there, don't you? And figure out if humans would be willing to go back to that. This third one, if you had a chance to live on Mars, would you be one of the first, let's say, 1 million people to go? Myra, why? You don't trust it. Kyla. Living, healthcare, hospitals, all those things. If you break your arm, like you pretty much go to get your arm in a cast and get it reset, right? But you won't have access to that type of stuff that we enjoy having access to. Yeah. Be what? Yeah. Oh, so that's he said you'd be a Martian if you had kids on Mars. You actually have Martians. That's a good point. That's interesting. Okay. Great job. Very interesting topic also. Our third person was gonna be Ian. Ian is at home, so we're gonna wait and have Ian present Friday. And we're gonna go ahead and move on. So this is gonna get a little bit tricky. So I really need everybody to follow me here. I didn't know how far we were gonna get today, so I do want to try to get through a little bit of this. And so from the modules page, if everybody could watch in the room and at home, what I am going to do here is go down to week 16. The first thing I'm going to show you, and this is for you, and I expect everybody to get this out, take notes on this so we can get it done by tomorrow, by a minimum, like hopefully like 2/3 of the way through class tomorrow, so we can get to the Rise of the Third Reich, which is awesome. Okay, so the note sheet looks like this right here. So if you could download that to your computer by pressing the arrow or clicking on the download where it says that. And we're going to just try to at least get started here today for a few minutes. I won't take up the entire class period. Okay. Xavier, did you find that on the module? I'll click back just to show everyone again. It is the second one right here. And then the notes I'm going to be working off of, if you wanted to download all the notes, they're there as well. But I would just take notes on what I have here, because that will be a much easier way for you to collect the information. And all of these questions since spring break and on are going to be on the final exam. Okay. So if you're, and I'll give you a study guide as well. Remember, if you have an A, so if you keep your grade up between now and then, if you have an A for both 9 weeks, you don't have to take the exam realistically, or you can sit for it and twirl your fingers. And if you have a grade that you're content with, it's the same thing. That's the way the school made it. All right, let's go ahead and get started here. And I had a question, if it's saved for me, I wanted to ask everybody today. I was going to obviously do this in person, or start off class tomorrow, but I'm gonna go ahead and just do it right away here. So in the chat box, if you're at home, and again, this is for participation points today, or in person, name one thing you are proud of accomplishing this school year. I feel like there's been a lot of negativity around this school year. Obviously, I can be guilty of that. So one thing that you've done, believe it or not, you made it through to this point where we only have, what, 11 days of instruction left? What's one thing that you are proud of? Kyla, go ahead. Yeah, good. All right, let's go around the room. Chris, what do you got? Good. You weathered the storm, huh? Good. What do you think, Jordan? What's that? Yeah, quite an adjustment from middle school. Yeah. Yep, you've improved for sure. One thing? Think about it. Maritza? Okay, good. Good. What's that? Nice. Good. What's that? Yeah. Good. Passing. Good. Yeah. All right. Come back. Yes, good. Think about it. Let's see. We got gained straight A's. Wow, that's great. Didn't skip, actually did things, keep my grades up, being more social, surviving the weird year, gaining grades. Good. Okay, if you're at home and you didn't post in here, please put, again, these are private messages. I'm not showing anybody. Put something in here. So even though most people are going to tell you that it's not a reason to celebrate, I want you to know that it is a reason to celebrate. You are almost done with your freshman year. Let's keep it strong here. Or if you're sophomore, junior, again, let's finish out strong. Again, remember, you have something to be proud of. You have, you've made it through the most difficult school year I've ever experienced in my life. Right. And just physically, or if you're at person and you're paying attention actually and not just sleeping, you have made it as well. And you have a reason to be proud. Yeah, that's the thing. You're here. Some of you in August, I didn't know if you were ever going to show up or if I'd ever even get to know anybody. So that's one of my things that I'm proud of is the fact that I get to be your teacher. And even next year in the hallway, I'll know who a lot of you are and be able to say hi, all that kind of stuff. All right. So we're going to jump into this thing that's called the Age of Anxiety after World War I. All right. And the age of anxiety can best be summed up this way. Okay, if you take a look at the screen, okay, and you're writing down your notes, it says Why? Why did they call this the age of anxiety? Well, take a look at this picture and try to tell me why you think it would have been called the age of anxiety. What's going on here? Yeah? Craziness, okay? You got dark, you have light, you have what looks like almost carnage in the middle. What does that kind of show that their mood was? Everything was mixed up, confused. Yeah. And nobody knew what was actually going to happen next, because the way that World War I ended left so much uncertainty, as well as the Russian Revolution meant that one of the largest countries in the world, 1/10 of the earth, was now communist or faux communist. And so there was a lot of anxiety by a lot of people trying to figure out what to do after the dust had settled on World War I. Okay, a couple big changes then. Most of this class has been told through most of world history is told through the lenses of the haves and the have-nots, the upper class versus the lower class. You know, Chinese dynasties, it's always the dynasty falls when the peasants rebel. Okay, or example, the French Revolution, when the poor people, the Third Estate unites. Okay, or in Haiti, the Haitian Revolution, when the slaves say we've had enough. So after the World War I in the 1920s, some class distinctions started to fade away, meaning that the whole idea of the three estates, first, second, and third, or like peasant, noble, and then the king, the whole idea of like how the Middle Ages were, they just ceased to, like, they went away. You had a much larger growing middle class. The expansion of what are called white collar jobs. This is not maybe a PC thing to say, that's why I have it in quotes, but that means that people started to work desk jobs where they pushed paper, you know? Today it would be someone who sits at their computer and works all day. A lot of people do that in the United States today, right? Not everyone uses their hands or works in physical labor. And so you started to see a movement away from that in the 1920s. And I think I stated this a couple weeks ago, but in most countries that were not colonies still, women gained the right to vote. So Canada, Great Britain, the United States, Australia, South Africa. I'm not saying it was fair. Obviously, there were still Jim Crow laws in the United States, okay? But the fact that women gained some rights was definitely important for the evolution of society. All right, great job. Let's talk then a little bit about this crazy change in science, okay? Remember how social Darwinism was important before World War I? Does everybody remember that? Okay, and how crazy that idea was and how racist, just blatantly ignorant it was. Well, now science kind of changed. And so one of the biggest was Albert Einstein and him replacing Newton, like Newton's laws, Sir Isaac Newton, and basically figuring out how to split atoms. All right, and how to create atomic energy. I don't know if many of you know this or not, but most of the large dams in the United States, even our state parks, I realized this when I was there over spring break, were built during the Great Depression, okay, to create atomic energy, to create electricity, especially for places like Las Vegas, which it runs off there. They get their electricity from Lake Mead in the whatever the name of the dam is, I forget. Hoover Dam, sorry. Yeah. Also then, in terms of understanding people, Sigmund Freud came up with this idea of psychoanalysis was the key to understanding human behavior. And so it was a mix basically a mix of your genes, like who you came from, your parents, and then also then the earth and like what living experiences you had as well. Okay, so that moved away from what skin color you were meant that you were certainly like this or certainly like that. That's not true. It was what you experienced combined with your genetic makeup. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah, and so that's why social Darwinism, that idea kind of slides away because that doesn't fit. Survival of the fittest doesn't necessarily fit with this idea. I don't have this on your notes, but I think it's just cool for you to see. It's in the 1920s that these artists, maybe you've read Hemingway or Steinbeck, they became famous, and then art, you see a movement towards, it's called modern art, cubism, realism, surrealism, all became pretty popular. Degas, Picasso, Salvador Dali. Maybe you've heard of these artists before. They are pretty famous in world history. All right, what I'm gonna do with everybody is I'm gonna stop here because I have a cool video to go with this tomorrow, and I want to get it on Nearpod if I can. But this is one of my favorite units, favorite days. So I'll save it for that. What I want you to do, make sure you save your notes that you started already, okay? What do you have? The first 3 bullet points done? Okay. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I want to show everybody, I'm gonna stop the share for one moment if you're at home. I would like to show, I gotta get out of this somehow. There we go. All right, if you did not take the quiz, I'm gonna go ahead and reshare the screen here. If you did not take the quiz yesterday at home, like you were supposed to, I'm gonna go ahead and put that right here. And so I'll move that to the top. I need you to make sure you take that quiz by 2 o'clock today, okay? Everybody got that? 2 p.m. deadline so that I can get the grades inputted. I can't fall behind grading because I've got tennis tournaments next 2 weekends that I got to run and all sorts of weird responsibilities. And my wife's having a 3rd kid, if I didn't tell you that. Thank you. So life is going to get very busy, and been trying to juggle a pregnant wife with 2 kids is difficult at home. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, everyone have a great day. Thank you, Zariah. And thank you, Diamond, Francesca. We will get back at it tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye. Have a great rest of your day.
All right. The